Now, I can understand if somebody's very beautiful. I have very beautiful best friends. But to worship them in place of the goddess of beauty, especially in the time period this is taking place in,
what the fuck are you doing?
Hi, how are you doing today? Are we doing great? Fantastic, let's get started. So, you know that saying that people have sometimes that follow Greek or Roman mythos, but you're not supposed to say that you're more beautiful than Aphrodite or you're more beautiful than Venus, because if you do, she just might turn you into a fucking termite. I've always found that really funny. Like, I follow that rule, me personally. Like, do I think that she will smite me? I mean, realistically, probably not. But I'm not willing to take that chance. Like, it's fucking annoying. You know how irritating that would be to go to bed being like, I'm more beautiful than such and such, and you wake up and you're like, a dust mite?
What's going on?
But today's video is talking about the love story between Cupid and Psyche. Now, there's been some like discourse between how you actually say her name, Psyche and Psyche. I personally say Psyche because when I see the word Psyche, I think of Psyche. Psyche, maybe, but like, I think of Psyche. So this would be one of those instances in which a god actually falls in love with a regular mortal person, as opposed to just, you know, having a one-night stand, consensual or non-consensual, and a demigod being the end result. So Psyche was, like I just said, just a regular mortal woman. She didn't have any kind of ties to the gods. She wasn't the daughter of anyone particularly important. She was just a very beautiful mortal woman. And she was so beautiful that the mortals around her were just like, yeah,
this is the goddess of beauty right her.
And they decided to stop worshiping Venus and start worshiping her. Now, I can understand if somebody's very beautiful. I have very beautiful best friends. But to worship them in place of the goddess of beauty, especially in the time period this taking place in,
What the fuck are you doing?
like, are you really trying to get her fucked up? Like, you don't care about her for real. There's literally no way. So when Venus realized that she was not the one getting all the praise and all the worship for being beautiful, how she realized this, I don't know. Maybe she was chilling out one day, laying down, eating grapes, getting fanned by a big ass leaf, and she realized that she wasn't getting a lot of worship voice notes, worship voicemails. I don't really know how that kind of works. But she realized that she was, you know, not getting worshipped the way that she usually is. So she went down and she looked down at Rome and she was like, what's going on down there? What's going on? And she saw the people of Rome blessing and worshiping and praising this mortal woman. And she was very upset about it. I guess in her mind, she was like, why are you praising this mortal woman who will age and grow old like a bad raisin when I'm immortally beautiful? The fuck is y'all got going on? So she sent her son Cupid, or Eros, to make Psyche fall in love with an ugly beast. What that would do, I'm not quite sure. I see beautiful women with ugly boyfriends literally every single day on my campus. But the issue was, she was so beautiful that Cupid himself fell in love with her. Plot twist. So he took her away from her home and took her to a very dark and secluded place to where only he could see her face and only they could hang out. But he also told her to never look upon his face. Now, it's never really expanded as to why he said this. I'm only going to assume it's like a Dionysus' mother situation, which if you don't know what happened, I'll give you a little rundown. So Zeus and Dionysus' mother was actually a consensual-ish relationship, and while she was really okay with like being pregnant with Zeus's child, the one thing she really wanted was not the demigod, but to actually see Zeus in his true form. And he warned her that if he did that, she would like perish. But she didn't give a fuck. And if she didn't give a fuck, why should he give a fuck? And he didn't give a fuck. So he exposed his true form to her, and she quite literally burst into flames while still pregnant with Dionysus. But like I always say, biology does not exist here. So I guess either a split second before she burst into flames or while she was bursting into flames, but not totally completely. Maybe the flames hadn't gotten to her uterus yet. I don't really know. He grabbed embryo Dionysus and put it in his thigh. And he continued to form, I guess, like grow into an actual baby and then was born through his thigh. I'm gonna go ahead and assume it was that kind of situation. Like, Eros heard about what happened, you know, out in Greece and was like, I'm not trying to have that happen to you, baby. No, we love a man that protects his woman. But the issue is, you can never truly be happy if you have miserable people around you. Misery loves company. Chess piece. Psyche had very, very jealous sisters. Now, it could have been for a triad of reasons. My best guess is, they were so jealous of her because they weren't as pretty as her, and the fact that she was getting attention, special attention, from literally the personification of love himself. So her sisters were telling her, who gives a fuck what Cupid said? You have a right to look at him if he's gonna take you somewhere away from your home into the dark, talking about some let's hang out but you can't look at me. That's bullshit. I get it, but at the same time, who's gonna disobey what a god says? I know I'm not. I ain't trying to get turned into no fucking mammal. I'm good. I guess human are mammals. Four-legged mammal. I don't know why this just popped into my head. It's totally off topic. There's this weird, parasite bacteria that can infect spiders and turn them completely white, regardless of, what the color they actually were. And it takes control of their entire body, but the spider is still, conscious, but it's not really sentient. And it can take control of the spider's entire body. I will never in my life put a video of this bitch walking up a wall or walking on the floor, because that's gonna be scary for me to look at to edit. And I don't know about y'all, but I hate spiders. I fucking hate spiders. But the video that I saw of what this spider looks like when it's walking just popped into my head. When I tell you, I know how spiders usually walk. They walk, everything works how they're supposed to work. When this parasite is on a spider, the legs are like jelly. They don't move properly. I don't know why that popped into my head, but it did. Anyway, let's get back on topic. So Psyche was urged by her sisters to look upon Cupid anyway, and unfortunately she, folded and did what her sisters told her to do. But remember, they were in a really, really dark and secluded area, so she couldn't look at him, but I'm sure with this weird godly night vision superpower cat powers, he was able to look at her in the dark no matter what. So she got an oil lamp, and she had it up and she was trying to look at his face. And she damn near saw his face, but the oil from the oil lamp spilled. I don't know if she was holding it like this or I don't fucking know. But the oil spilled onto Cupid, and I know he woke up sounding like a fucking Tom and Jerry soundbite. I just know. And he realized what she was doing once the pain probably abated for a little bit, and he was like, "You betrayed me." And he simply vanished. And while Cupid was in love with her, she was also in love with Cupid. And so she was trying to figure out all these ways to get him back to her, trying to get him to forget what she did, even though she, overstepped her boundaries and crossed his boundaries. They were very firmly laid out, and I feel like not that hard to follow, but hey, I've never met a god, so I don't know. And ironically enough, the quest to figure out how to get his love back for her literally led her to his mama. I cannot imagine going up to my boyfriend's mama and saying, "Mommy, look, so I pissed him off and he said he don't love me no more, but I still love him. So what can I do to make him love me again?" But also remember, she was the one that sent Cupid to her in the first place. So imagine how she's feeling. She's probably in her head talking about some, "You got some fucking nerve. I sent my son to curse you, and here you are talking about some, oh, I love him. How do I get him back?" So she gave her 4 seemingly impossible tasks, hoping that she would fail. Similar to Hercules and his 12 labors, and similar to Perseus killing Medusa. They always want to give them these impossible ass tasks because they feel like they can't do it, knowing and hoping that they'll fail. But they don't fail. That's the funny part. So the first task that Venus had her complete was to separate a giant hill of grain. Now me personally, I can love someone so much, like I love my baby. I'm not separating a big ass fucking pile of grain. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. But luckily, this woman was so beautiful on some Orpheus shit, nature was helping her with her tasks. So she had this big old pile of grain and was like, how the hell am I gonna separate this? Who came to the rescue? Who does she call? Not the Ghostbusters. Ants. I don't even know what kind of communication they was doing, echolocation. Was she asking them, can you help me with this grain? And they spelled out yes with their bodies. I don't fucking know. But ants helped her separate all this grain, and the first task was completed. Her second task was to fetch golden wool from a man-eating sheep. Now hold on a minute. I've seen sheep. I love sheep. I love baby sheep, to be exact. Sheep that eat men? Where'd they make that at? That's a new iOS update. Gaia, what's going on? But there was a really big problem with this. These sheep that had golden wool, they lived like, they were wild sheep, first of all. The issue was, these wild sheep lived opposite a river that was very heavy and very fastly paced in terms of the stream. Stepping into it, you could drown very much easily if you're not a skilled swimmer, which literally nobody was. And so she knew that she had to get this to get back Cupid. And so she came to terms with the possibility that stepping into this river to cross this river to get to the other side to get to these sheep would probably cost her her life in terms of drowning. And she'd accepted that, and she was fully prepared to do so. But have no fear, because we have sentient grass. So in the myth, it's commonly stated that a river god helps her with getting over the river to get to these sheep. But I did some more research, and it's not technically a river god. It's reed of the stream, which I looked that up, and it's just grass. So I guess she was talking to grass. Everybody is on some good stuff out here at ancient times. It's, what do you mean talking to grass? And the grass is helping you. So these, you know, grass bristles? What is it called? Blades, fuck. These grass blades essentially told her to wait until the sheep calmed the fuck down, because I guess they were running rampant acting crazy. Wait till they calm down and wait till the river calms down, and then cross it very quickly and just pick the wool that was caught on like the branches by the river. I guess they drink water from the river. Luckily, Venus did not say how much wool she had to get. So I'm gonna assume she went over there, picked like a couple handfuls, put it in her pocket, crossed that river, and went back to Venus. So task number 2 was complete. The third task that Venus gave Psyche to do was to obtain water from the river Styx. And I'm not really sure why this was hard, because from my recollection, the river Styx doesn't really curse you, so to speak, but people say that if you bathe and you swim and you survive, I don't really understand why it's a curse, because honestly, Achilles only got God because his mama only dipped him by his heel, like a little chicken nugget, instead of just like, you know, Kobe, to make his whole body invulnerable, not just all of it and then not the Achilles. To me, that's always been stupid. But for some reason, she had a really hard time with this and was unable to get the water. I guess she was like scared to like get her hand touched by the like liquid, I don't really know. But luckily, who's here to help? And probably his only time helping somebody. Zeus is here to help. Or Jupiter, since we're in Rome. He sent to Eagle with the crystal cup or crystal chalice to get the water inside the chalice and just give it to Psyche. This bitch had pretty privilege to the fucking max. Everybody is helping her like crazy. But with this assistance, the third task was completed. But the fourth and final task was the one that really proved to be hard. Venus told her that she had to go to the underworld and obtain beauty, like literally just beauty, in a box from Persephone. How the fuck you put beauty in a box? How the fuck that work? But like we already know, it's very hard to get to the underworld without being dead. Orpheus did it, sure, but like, you know, he was a demigod. She's just a pretty bitch. So she climbed a tower, who the fuck knows why, and then, like I said, all these fucking sentient beings. The tower spoke to her and told her the path to the underworld. And she listened to it, memorized it, maybe even wrote it down on a little ass leaf, and then went about her way. The tower instructed her to take 2 coins. Now these certain kind of coins is a little sequence that we saw in Clash of the Titans if you did your homework, like I said, and watched that damn movie. And in Percy Jackson, now that I'm thinking about it. But to pay the ferryman in question is Charon, who is a man, being, thing, whatever you want to call it, that transports the dead souls over the river Styx to the underworld. It's also a reason behind ancient burial practices in Rome and Greece, in which when someone dies, you place 2 coins over their eyes so they can pay the ferryman and get to the underworld and not living in purgatory looking crazy. The tower also told her on her voyage before she leaves to take a spot of barley cake. What's barley cake? I don't know. I think barley is like wheat, isn't it? It's like a wheat cake. But the tower told her to do this because who stands guard at the underworld? Our favorite 3-headed puppy, Kerberos. And she was supposed to give this cake to Kerberos so Kerberos can calm the fuck down and she can just go on ahead and talk to Persephone. And luckily, she did what she was told, did exactly what she was supposed to do, and she gained an audience with Persephone. She sat Persephone down and explained to her her dilemma and what she was going through and why she was in the underworld and still alive. Persephone was like, "Wah, my heart. And she agreed to give her a dose of her beauty in a beautiful golden box.
What?
She told her, don't open this box. It's something about telling bitches not to open box that just makes them want to open it more. We already went through this with Pandora. If someone says don't open something, don't fucking open it. Oh my god. But curiosity, like Pandora, caused Psyche to open the box, and she didn't die, but she fell into a death-like sleep. We got bootleg Sleeping Beauty over here. Fast asleep, where I can only assume it's like the middle of the fucking woods. Cupid, who's probably watching her do all this shit, found her and was like, why are you on the ground? And why are you not waking up? What the fuck is going on right now? Side note, when you really look at some mythological stories from different kind of cultures, you can see how like cross-referencing stuff is low-key crazy. Because the Grimm's brothers write all these books and these stories about princesses to fall into death-like sleep, fall into sleep, fall into death. And the only way to wake them up is what? True love's kiss. And who is more true of love than Cupid? So upon finding her asleep in what I said I'm gonna assume is the woods, he kissed her to wake her up. I personally have always found the notion of kissing somebody you think is dead weird. Even if they do wake up, why were you trying to kiss them? They're cold. But she woke up and she was like, do you still love me? And Cupid was like, yes, I still love you. But remember what I said earlier? Yeah. Like a raisin. So Cupid decided to go to Jupiter and say, please, can you make her immortal? I love her. I want to spend the rest of my life with her. Like, please. And Zeus, you know, he has a soft spot for healthy relationships, just not his own. And he agreed to make her immortal, thus bonding Cupid and Psyche, love and soul, forever. What do you guys think of this? Like, honestly. Because when I think of this, all I'm thinking about is like, don't set up somebody because you never know what could really go down. Venus sent her son to fuck up Psyche's life, and then she ended up becoming fucking immortal. I would be so upset. My plan fully backfired. But what do y'all think? Do you think that Venus did the right thing with sending her son down? Do you think she was wrong? Do you think people should have known better, knowing what he was sent them to do? What do y'all think? Put it in the comments down below. I want to see what y'all's thoughts are. But that is all I have for you guys today. Something light, something short, something sweet. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Do not forget to subscribe. Do not forget to like and comment. Thank you guys for watching. Bye!